Welcome to my channel, The Three Mountains. My name is White Eagle. Today I bring you the last part of the conference of the lecture given by Master Samael Aun Weah on the topic We Must Not Forget Ourselves. I would like to take the opportunity and let you know that this is my last video for the year 2020. Let's get started. First of all, you can see here the Kabbalah tree, and I would like you to pay attention at the regions, yes, or dimensions. So you can see that the logoid triangle is in the 7th or 0 dimension. Then you have the 6th dimension where you find Geburah, Chesed, Tipereth. The 5th dimension where you find the astral body and the mental body. The 4th dimension, you find the vital body and Yesod. Then the 3rd dimension, where we are, Earth, and we have our physical body. Now let's get started with the lecture. Just a moment. Master Samael says, Vishnu, the Logos, the Christ, has to take 3 steps in the 7 regions of the universe. The first step is given in the world of the spirit, Chesed, Atman. The second step is in our own soul, the human soul, Tipereth. And the third step in our body. Now, just a moment. In video number 108, I gave you this image regarding the ray of light, the ray of creation. And here you can see how it descends from the Absolute and it goes passing through all the Sephirot. Now let's continue with Master Samael's lecture. And the other way round. We, working in the laboratorium oratorium with alchemy, we will be making the first step. The second step the Christ will have to take will be in the anemic world, when the Christ descends to incarnate in us to help us do the second mountain. And the third step in the spiritual world, when we incarnate Buddhi Atman. And here I made my own Kabbalah tree because I want you to understand where are those 3 steps. Yes, from the top to the bottom, the first step is when Vishnu here in the Sephirah Chokmah has to reach Chesed, Atman. So from here, from Chokmah to Chesed is the first step. From Chesed to Tipereth is the second step. Yeah, it has to reach the human soul. And from Tipereth to our physical body is the third step that Master Samael is talking about. Now let's continue. Now my words, important. I gave you videos 115 and 118 because the fire needs to take these 3 steps. The fire needs to keep burning inside you in order to take the 3 steps from the bottom up and reach Geburah, your Buddhi, and later Atman. Now Master Samael continues. These 3 steps of the Christ are fundamental for us to reach final liberation. The same fire will have turned to dust the psychic elements. Once its work is done, it will establish himself in the spirit, Atman. The Christ must give life to our body, must develop as a living philosophical fire inside us, and must burn in our consciousness as a soul, and must shine in our spirit. There you have the 3 steps of the fire. Yes, and I put a picture of this time of the Christ, the second Logos. Igni inri, says Master Samael, ignis natura renovarum integram. The fire renovates nature incessantly. We must renovate the body by means of the fire. We must take the fire up to our soul, and we must carry it up to our spirit. Now my words, When the Master says that we must take the fire up to our soul and we must carry it up to our spirit, it means to reach Geburah, our divine soul, to incarnate Buddhi, and later reach Chesed or Atman, the spirit in each one of us. So the middle triangle or the ethical triangle is the one that he's talking about. This is possible when we complete the 9 labors of Hercules in the second mountain, and we take the jump to the third mountain, having completed filling with gold the superior existential bodies of the being. Now, Master Samael continues. The fire transforms our body. Vishnu guides us. It is the midnight sun, the light that leads us along the razor's edge towards the final liberation. Fire exists in the form of water. Fire exists in a petrified form. Fire exists in a vapor form. And fire exists as a flame. The 3 steps it must reach in order to acquire full manifestation in this physical world. The adepts of Egypt, India, Persia, Lemuria, Atlantida, etc., came out from the entrails of the unknowable Elohim and made 3 steps across the 7 regions. But sadly, many of them fell. Solar gods and goddesses have now become vulgar creatures. They are remembered in a symbolic way in the form of stone sculptures. The gods of the past died. Now, watch video 109 in relation to people being turned to stones. But it has been said that in the future 6th race they will resuscitate. And here I put my own drawing again, because I need to explain to you that we are here. This is the 5th Aryan race and is about to end. And there were 4 races before us. The first one is called the Polar race. The second one it was called the Hyperborean race. The third one is called the Lemurian race. And the last one before us was the Atlantean race. Apparently, according to the books of Master Samael, the 6th race is going to be called Koradi race. So I'm not that sure, so that's why I have not written the name of it. Now let's continue. They will have to make the fire burn again inside their bodies, in their soul and in their spirit, in order to become Elohims once more. Later, in the Mahapralaya, the cosmic night, when this universe will end, they will submerge inside the interior of the unknowable Elohim. Nowadays, there are many fallen gods. They have to awaken the fire inside themselves. They must make the fire burn inside their bodies, in their soul, and in their spirit, in order to return to their state of Elohim, in order to become what they were once. It would not be possible for those fallen gods to give the 3 steps if they did not disintegrate by means of the fire the psychic aggregates that they, sadly, made the mistake to create. Pour them. Their consciousness became bottled up inside those demoniac creations, infernal creatures. And the Master is speaking about the ego, of course. Only if they burn with the fire the ego, they can return to their pristine original state, to that pristine state that they had in the dawn of the Mahamanvantara. If we burn the egos to ashes, then we will wake up as flames, as the army of the voice. The word is what it has always been and what will always be. It is the life that beats in each atom, as it beats in each sun. Each one of us is called to become a soldier, in the army of the voice, to become a flame of the dawn. Therefore, if we do not know how to maintain a perfect equilibrium amongst the consciousness, the body, and the environment where we dwell, it would not be possible to transform ourselves in flames. It is necessary for us to become a flame, an Elohim. 3 are the steps that the fire must take inside ourselves to become an Elohim, in a flame. There exists the sun that shines in the absolute abstract space, that is to say, the midnight sun. There exists the ray, terrible and menacing, and the Vulcan fire in our sexual organs. Only by means of developing this wonderful fire in our anatomic constitution, guided by the midnight sun, can we be freed by means of the terrible ray of Brahma, the Father, the Ancient of Days. The fire must burn in the body, firstly, later in the soul, and later on in the spirit. When these 3 steps of the fire are burning in us, we will become our divine prototype. Each one of us has his, her own divine prototype in the fire, and we will become as a result an Elohim. It is necessary that you understand the need to be turned into an Elohim. It is necessary that you understand the need to become sacred individuals. It is necessary that you understand the need to join the army of the voice. It is necessary that you take those 3 steps along the mountains. End of this lecture. Samael Aoun Weir. So this is the last part of that long lecture that I translated. Now my words, I want to show you before, just as my last video, I want to show you the difference between a human being without self-realization and a self-realized man with the built solar bodies, yes, with the solar bodies completely, and having reached Buddhi and Atman. Master Samael emphasizes the need for us to be turned into an Elohim, into sacred individuals. Now, one night in the Astral, I wake up inside a barn, and I am sitting on a pile of hay, and right in front of me there is a beautiful cow eating hay. My being immediately says, "This is the Divine Mother." And here she is. This is the perfect picture that I found because it really illustrates what I saw in the Astral. And she was there happily eating hay. Then I see ants walking near the foot of the cow, the front feet. I focus my eyesight and it gets magnified. And now I realize that they are actually a group of 6 guys walking together and discussing some problem among them. And they were just walking and going and passing by. But they are just ants. I am in shock to see real people as ants. Now, according to Google, this is the insect scale, a human is about 750 times taller than an ant. And it says don't confuse this with mass or volume. A human is way more than 750 times the volume of an ant. And I found this picture for you to imagine what I saw. Truly I was surprised to find out the real small scale of common people without self-realization in the Astral. And now I understand why Master Samael stated many times in his lectures that this humanity on earth is just an anthill. And there you have it. Yes, an ant. I became conscious of how big one becomes in the Astral once the solar bodies have been completed, built first in the first mountain and filled with gold in the second mountain. And my point here in this video is for you to understand what the magnus opus in Latin, or the great work, the Master speaks of in the three mountains. Master Samael left for us the path for the self-realization of our being, and when that is done, then we become what we originally were once, an Elohim. And this is in a huge, colossal scale. When I was younger, I used to wonder why people would build such huge statues of gold. Yes, and you can see here a huge statue of a Buddha dressed in gold, yeah, gold robes. And you can see, I don't know if it is good in this video, but below here, people look like ants. It is exactly as what I saw in the Astral. Now I know that they depict a fully self-realized man clothed in his solar bodies, and that's why the golden color. Another colossal statue, can you see people? And this colossal statue, I don't have any other words to describe it. It also represents an Elohim, a god, like we used to be before we fell into degeneration. Let's continue. Just a moment. And here another one, a pharaoh, sitting on the perfect cubic stone. Yes, he has already built the solar bodies. And now he has completed his work. Do you understand now what Master Samael is telling you in his lecture above? Do you get the image of what an Elohim is? I hope so. These colossal monuments, esoterically speaking, represent people who have finished filling with gold their solar bodies in the second mountain and have reached Buddhi, Gebura, and incarnated Atman, Chesed, in the third mountain. Look at this. It's amazing. But they are there to remind us of who we were once. And look at people. Yes? I hope you now comprehend the sheer scale of the so-called great work Master Samael left for us to accomplish in his books, when he describes the path and what you will be trying to achieve with your efforts. That is the goal, and liberation from the wheel of samsara. To reach Buddhi, Atman, in the tree of life or the Kabbalah tree. To fuse yourself with the divinity and become an Elohim again. But as long as the ego exists in you, Atman can't incarnate in you. Now my advice, never get tired of killing the ego. Never believe the ego is dead until Atman, the spirit, arrives. I repeat, if you have understood the 4 factors that I have taught in my videos, then you don't need anything else to reach that goal. All future videos are just additional information, but do not replace the 4 factors. I hope you don't wait for anyone to start climbing. Don't wait for anything to get you moving wherever you are. Get to work with the 4 factors and never forget the goal of why you are here, doing the path of the 3 mountains. And this is the end of the lecture and of this video. And if you have just found out my videos and would like to know more about the Gnostic teachings, then please start by watching video number 1 and continue in an ascending order. I leave you my email for inquiries. And my final words is just to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And I'll see you next year.